Happy Friday, everybody. It's week 0 in college football, which I'm not quite sure. I mean, they're playing football, so I don't know why they call it week 1, but okay, week 0 in college football. And there's tons of soccer going on. There's some stuff going on in Major League Baseball we had to talk about. We have got a jam-packed time today, Amadeus, and I know that this is the time of year that we're all getting a little bit excited.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. Obviously, all the soccer leagues have come back, but now we got college football starting tomorrow. Obviously, it's only the few games, but that just means on next Saturday there's going to be 3,000 games. So,
Right.
Get ready, and then a month from now you're going to have 10,000 basketball games joining those
Right.
Saturdays. So
it will be definitely. Then they've got the NFL that comes too, and we've got all kinds of crazy. So,
luckily, it's a fixed league there, and we
don't
have more than 15 games a week, really.
Right. We also have Messi going to New York. Well, technically New Jersey, but it's as close as he's going to get to New York City this round, and playing in his first MLS official game. He's played a lot of games now, but he hasn't played an official MLS game. Although he's played 3 MLS teams, so there you go, 4 actually. So it is what it is. So where do you want to start, big guy? We can go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, we'll start with the Premier League just to get that out of the way. Obviously, we got the one game today with Chelsea and Luton Town, and I got a free play on Chelsea -1.5. We all know how I feel about this Chelsea team. I think they're going to be improved this year. They're still searching for their first win of the season, but this is at home to Luton Town. Mm-hmm. Luton Town is probably going to finish last in the Premier League. I can't see them really doing much this year. Mm-hmm. I don't see them the kind of team to come up and stay up, at least like we've seen some of these other teams do. But Burnley could end up staying up, but Luton Town, I don't think they have it in them. So this is going to be a big test for Chelsea. If they can't win this match by 2 or more goals at home, then I don't know about them, Jim. I don't know.
They're on shaky ground, huh? So there's a game that started at 2:30 at the Bundesliga. Starts at 2:30. Leipzig and Stuttgart, and that's really. And in France, League 1, 3:00 start. Nats and Monaco. So those are some other games that are scheduled for today, and then tomorrow we have a full slate of games. Starting with the MLS, you got Atlanta and Nashville. You got Charlotte against LAFC, Cincinnati, New York, Columbus, Toronto, DC United at Philly. You've got Montreal at New England. You've got New York at Inter Miami. New York Red Bull. Inter Miami's at that here. Man, it just flipped over a second ago. Orlando City's in St. Louis, Dallas at Austin, Sporting Kansas City at the San Jose Earthquake, Real Salt Lake and Houston Dynamo, LA Galaxy, Chicago Fire, Portland Timbers, and the Vancouver Whitecaps. That's your schedule for tomorrow. And then, of course, in the Premier League, it's Tottenham Hotspur against Bournemouth. It's Arsenal, Fulham, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, and the Wolves, and Manchester United, Nottingham Forest, and Brighton taking on West Ham. So that's where we are for tomorrow too. So plenty of soccer to be had as we get scheduled there. So any of those situations over the weekend, any games in either the Premier League or any of the other leagues over the weekend that you have your eye on?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is obviously going to be a big match for Manchester United. They're at home to Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest was a team they beat 4 times last year. They beat them twice in the Premier League. They beat them in a cup. I think they beat them once in each cup match. So and it's a team they match up very well against. So this is going to be a big test for Man United, because obviously, they got smacked by Tottenham in their last match.
Mhm.
Barely won their first match against the Wolves at home. So this is it for me. I think this is do or die. Man United has to show up at home in this match, or their struggles will continue, which is not good, because like I said, the talent is there on this team. I think we're going to find out a bit more about Brighton tomorrow when they play West Ham. They're a pretty big favorite at home, so we'll see. West Ham, obviously, they lost Declan Rice in the transfer window, but other than that, everybody else is pretty much there. So that'll be interesting. And the big one for me on Sunday is Newcastle versus Liverpool. That is going to be a match and a half, because obviously we have this improved, I would say, Liverpool team for sure. They were obviously gaining a lot of steam near the end of last season, and they've done nothing but moves to improve their attack. So they definitely have a strong attack, but that defense, like I said, and Foxy has touched on how he doesn't like the midfield, but yeah, definitely this defense is on the weaker side for Liverpool. This Newcastle team, they got a strong defense. They had the best defense in the Premier League last year. They're a very good team at home. Obviously, they made a lot of moves with their influx of cash now in the transfer window. So they made a lot of moves to improve. Got my guy Sandro Tonali from my AC Milan, which was a disappointing blow to my team. But hey, it's an improvement to Newcastle. So that's going to be a very exciting match. That one is the afternoon match, or I guess the 11:30, not quite afternoon match, but it's the final. It's the final match of Sunday in the Premier League. So if you can, I would definitely recommend giving that one a watch, because even if you're not a gambler, or if you're not a fan of either one of the teams, it's going to be just a good match to watch, in my opinion.
Well, there you go. Sometimes that's you just sit down and watch something because you've got two very good teams playing against you.
Yeah.
So that you can't. I mean, that's all you really want, right?
Absolutely.
So there you go. All right. So you want to get some college football for a sec?
Yeah, let's touch the college football. It's an exciting time. Obviously, we got week 0 ready to go.
Right. NBC and Peacock has Navy and Notre Dame. The game's being played in Dublin, Ireland, where we told you yesterday that it is going to be an 80% chance of rain, and very much about 60 degrees, at kickoff. So that Navy Notre Dame, I believe Notre Dame's like a 20-point favorite in this game, something in that regard.
Yeah, 20 and a half, right, at the moment.
Yeah. So I think everything boils down to, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. By the way, Noah Eagle will be on the call, play-by-play. Jason Garrett will be the analyst. Noah is filling in for Jack, and he spells his name J-A-C, Jack Collingsworth, Chris's son. And Noah is Ian Eagle's son. So Noah will be doing Big Ten normally, but he's filling in for Chris' son, who's under the weather. So it's Noah Eagle and Jason Garrett calling the Navy Notre Dame game, of course, in Dublin, 2:30, and Navy runs the triple option. We talked a little bit about yesterday that the key here, I don't know. I just don't see a high scoring game here. If the elements, if it rains, that's going to be a bit of a problem. So we'll see how that plays out. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. The rain will probably play, especially if it does rain. It'll definitely play into the gameplay a bit more. You'll probably see both teams run the ball a little bit more. Obviously, we know Navy is still going to try and run the ball. Triple option or not, be damned. They're gonna still try and find ways to put wrinkles in it and run the ball. So that's the thing, right? Like you can ban the triple option, but these schools aren't built to throw. So it's going to be still, I think, a game where you get a lot of clock eaten by that. And obviously, if it rains, Notre Dame's going to have to run the ball as well. They're not going to want to be throwing it as much. So definitely, maybe possibly an under here. The total's 49, so could see an under for sure.
I would learn what the over-under of passing for Navy would be. Is it 7? Is it 10? What is it? How many passes do they expect? Maybe either. When it gets to a game like this, it's really Navy. Navy's got 22 guys, which are 11 on offense, 11 on defense. It's the depth of a Notre Dame that can wear you down. They're physically big. They're physically, the skilled positions, they're faster. And so, as hard as it is, now it doesn't mean Navy's pulled off a number of upsets over Notre Dame. So this one in Dublin, I think, is going to be a fun one. And we'll see how it plays out. But that game is tomorrow, 2:30, and it kicks off. And it's on Peacock and NBC. Again, Noah Eagle and Jason Garrett on the call. Now, ESPN has Mercer at South Alabama. That game's being played in Montgomery. With Phil Pott and Rowdy Jones on the call. And I really don't have a feel for this. I mean, North Alabama, I really don't have a feel for what's going on with that one. Then you and I spoke about UTEP at Jacksonville State. That's a 5:30 kick on CBS Sports Network. Rich Waltz and Aaron Taylor on the call. So what did you find out while doing your homework last night about UTEP and Jacksonville State?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, this UTEP team, they're expecting a much better season than last year. There was a lot of hype for them last year, but obviously things didn't go the way they planned. There isn't as much hype for them this year, that's for sure, and definitely not as much as there was last year, but they should be an improved team. They do have three of the best, run blockers, run stoppers in the conference. So it'll definitely be interesting. This Jacksonville State team, obviously it's their first time in Division I, so we'll see how they handle it. They have the luxury of being at home here. It's still going to be tough for both because obviously this is a conference game to open up the season right in week 0. So this could have a lot of implications right off the bat if one team comes out a little flat-footed. So definitely it's going to be an interesting match. I think this was one where Jacksonville State opened, I believe, as actually around a 2-point favorite, and right now it has been bet to UTEP being about 1 point and a half favorite. So
wow. Yeah, I mean UTEP had last season. A lot of people thought that if UTEP they have that upward trajectory, and a lot of people were saying, okay, if UTEP can have a good season, then they might be able to, make the move up to the American Conference like UT San Antonio did. But unfortunately for them, they didn't have that league that season, and it really kind of hurt them because timing is everything. And really, when you get into realignment in college football, and it was a bad time. But it's not like UTEP doesn't have players, and Jacksonville State does as well. So we'll see. Yeah, I do agree with you with regards to you. I can't imagine that you really want to start your season literally against a conference opponent. That has to be a true pain in the neck, because it's just it's like you can have a bad day and be 0-1 in the conference already, and that's not the kind of way you want to start.
And especially in week 0 too. Like we're not even in week 1 yet. There's just a select few teams playing this week, and we got to throw conference games right off the bat.
Yeah, thanks for that, buddy. Scheduling people. ESPN has.
They need us, Jim. They need us. Scheduling problems. What else is new?
Yeah, that's our job. Now here's one, which is an outlier. Okay, UMass at New Mexico State. That's a 7 p.m. kick on ESPN. John Shiffen is on the play-by-play. Rocky Hoyman is on the color side of this one. I have no clue on this. These two teams are from totally different conferences. They play totally different styles. And I would say this, UMass has begun to play better football, which is like saying, that I'm better than a 500 team, which is okay, for UMass. New Mexico State's been up and down and all over the place. So we'll have to see. But UMass traveling all the way to New Mexico is going to be interesting. We'll see how that and the heat in New Mexico might very well be a factor in this game for UMass. But it's a 7 p.m. kick, and some two teams that, I guess the fair thing to say is they're relatively evenly matched. But again, we'll see. It's so hard for these teams from the East, especially from the Northeast, like UMass, to make the trip across the country to New Mexico and and have a good result. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and as you said with the heat, like we're not talking just heat. We're talking like 100 plus 110 degree heat here. Right. So that's going to be difficult for any school to come down, especially when you have to travel that far of a length. And it's interesting to me because these two, obviously UMass is one of the few independent schools left now. They only got 4 independents this year, and New Mexico State has moved on to bigger and better things, if you want to call it that, in the Conference USA now. So big step for them. But I mean, obviously, this UMass team, they were 1-11 last year. New Mexico State finished 6-6. They went to the bowl game. They won the bowl game. Jerry Kill even got a tattoo because his team won the bowl game. So clearly, the players love Jerry Kill, and it's definitely going to be interesting here. I believe these two played last year as well. I'm not sure.
It was a home and home. Yeah, New Mexico was there last year.
Yeah, so now obviously UMass is going to be returning the favor, traveling to New Mexico State here, but. Definitely. Right now, New Mexico State, they're a 7-point favorite. That was 7.5 last week. Then I saw that get down to 6.5, and now it's kind of settled at 7. So a bit of line movement both ways on this game, and I mean they are pretty evenly matched up. I would say UMass is supposed to be better this year. Obviously, New Mexico State will be looking to build on that season they had. So. We'll see. We'll see if Jerry Kill has this team ready to go this year as well.
Yeah, and it's always tough for a team like UMass to go. Well, not just UMass, but any of these teams to go cross country play. In a stadium where they don't know anything about. I mean, they've never played there before. So and it does give the home team an advantage. Now, is it a 7-point advantage or whatever? We don't know. But certainly New Mexico State would have to be considered the favorite in this game. And, I imagine had New Mexico, if you flipped the script last year, probably UMass would have been. But that 6-6 that New Mexico State carved out last year, which got them to Conference USA, certainly bodes well for them, and my understanding is they got a couple of kids in the portal that they didn't expect they were going to get, which is always a good thing. It's like Christmas morning, you open it up, a present, and there you get somebody you didn't know you were going to get. So that's a cool one. And so, I think New Mexico State will win. I don't know whether it's by 7 or not, but New Mexico State's going to have a good day.
It's the tattoo, Jim. Everybody heard about the tattoo, and then everybody wanted to go to New Mexico State now to. Yeah, they're going to make Kill get another one now this year.
That's right. He's going for they're going to tat him up.
If we win the conference title, you're getting a sleeve.
Yeah, there you go. Hang on 1 second. I want to give you a chance to look at that. Anyway, sorry about that. It was a quick technical call. We're now, Timmy Brando, a good friend of mine, and Spencer Tillman are on the call FS1 Ohio from the MAC, going out to play San Diego State from the Mountain West Conference. So these are two quality teams from two, very good, non-power conferences. So they got Snapdragon Stadium, which is one of my favorite names for a stadium in San Diego. Ohio is, traveling out there. Traveling to San Diego is not a bad thing any time of the year, but right now is a good one. So this is kind of an interesting little opportunity for Ohio from the MAC and San Diego State from the Mountain West to get to know each other. Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on the call.
Yeah, Ohio had a really good season last year in the MAC, and obviously San Diego State. They're always a threat every year, just because of that defense. They've had one of the better defenses. I wouldn't say one of the best in the country, but definitely one of the better defenses in the country over the last few years. Definitely top 20 or so. They're supposed to have improved this year. They did make some good moves in the transfer portal, and obviously they're going to be at home, which we've talked about. As good as Ohio was, it's still going to be difficult for them to travel across the country and come over to San Diego for this one. So we'll see how that one goes. San Diego State's a very short favorite here. Actually, they're about a -2.5. So that might be the way to go in this one, but. If you can grab the 2.5 and hope San Diego State does it by a field goal, if you get the 3, it might push. It might be that kind of game where it really is settled by a field goal, but it all depends. San Diego State, the defense is going to be good, so I could see Ohio struggling to score, but that offense is always an issue with San Diego State. So it's all a matter of what is that offense going to do? Let's see.
Right. Well, and the thing is, both of these two teams, when they play out of conference, always seem to give the other team trouble. So when you get a situation like that, I can see why it's so close, because both of them, they don't. I guess the best thing I can say about both of them is they don't make mistakes. Now, they're not necessarily the best teams in their conferences at times, but they're certainly teams that are disciplined and they don't make mistakes. So I don't expect Ohio to give the game to San Diego State, and I don't expect San Diego State to roll over Ohio. So yeah, it's going to be a close game, and this might be, you're talking about games to watch just for the fun of it. And if you're, a fan of Alabama and the likes of Ohio State and like that, this is one of those games you might want to just tune in because the two teams actually are going to play hard and might be very entertaining. So it'll be a close game, that's for darn sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of these games will be good just to watch.
Agreed. Okay, on ABC, this is the big one. Every year they have, the HBC games, and ABC has South Carolina State this year at Jackson State. Games are being played in Atlanta, 7:30 p.m. on nationally seen on ABC. Tiffany Green, Jay Walker, Harry Lyles Jr., and Quinn Kinsick, who was a star lacrosse player at Johns Hopkins, is working the sidelines. So these two teams, Jackson State, has been one of the stronger teams in the in the SWAC. So it should be fun to watch this one. This is a game being played at the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, and I assure you, it will be a rowdy, raucous crowd. So, what do you think about South Carolina State, Jackson State?
Yeah, this isn't really a game I've looked at too much. As a handicapper, we can't really. There's not too many websites that offer lines on FCS games.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of these games where it's an FBS team playing, like the one you mentioned earlier with South Alabama, we don't really get lines on those. So yeah, definitely this won't be a game that I'm betting, and most handicappers probably won't be betting it either. But another one that's probably good to watch.
Yeah, I would say. Look, in the SWAC, defense is optional sometimes, and
so it's like the Big 12.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to be a small. It's not going to be a low scoring game. I would have to personally, and it's not. I mean, again, he's the expert, folks. I'm not. I'm just saying what I think from past experience and seeing some of these sides. Jackson State has really had a really nice little ride, and they just keep seeming to get better. So I think Jackson State in a neutral site game is going to have a nice afternoon against South Carolina State team that will also score points. But this might be one of those games where the last team that has the ball wins, which is possible. But it'll be fun. Jackson State against South Carolina State. A lot of states in there. 7:30 on ABC tomorrow night. Next up, on the Southeastern Conference Network, the Rainbow Warriors travel a long bloody way to Nashville, Tennessee to face Vanderbilt. That's the 7:30 kick. Taylor Zankor is on the call with Matt Stinkum. Vandy at home against Hawaii. As I say, the Rainbow Warriors travel a long way to get there to play an SEC game. And I don't know, Vanderbilt's probably the favorite here. But, I mean, in theory, they should win this game. I'm not sure who scheduled it. I think if I'm Vanderbilt, I want a home and home in this deal. I want to be able to go back and play Hawaii at Hawaii. But it'll be an interesting thing. And again, after the tragedy that happened in Hawaii, that we have to be concerned about the student athletes and, of course, about their families back at home. So we'll see how that plays into what effect they're going to have to do with the playing the Commodores tomorrow night, 7:30 on the SEC network. But Vanderbilt should be able to handle Hawaii. If they don't, well then Vanderbilt's going to have a lot longer season than they even had expected in the first place. So we'll see how that works out. Any thoughts on that one? Or
Yeah, I kind of like Hawaii in this one actually.
Okay.
So Hawaii was a team where obviously last year they were supposed to be bad and they were awful because they got decimated in the portal. But now they've actually made some pretty good moves in the portal. Timmy Chang is in his second year now, and from what I've read, actually, is a lot of the players are motivated for this game because of what happened back home in Hawaii. So they aren't down in spirits, that's for sure. They look at it like let's come in and beat an SEC team. So and Vanderbilt, they're an SEC team, but not by much compared to the rest of the SEC.
Boy, in name only, Commodores. They may just drop that anchor, down. Well, I'll tell you what, you swayed me now. I'll be rooting for Hawaii.
Well, it's just because they're a 17.5-point dog. So, I agree with you. Vanderbilt should win the game, but are they going to win by 18 points?
I was going to say, did Vanderbilt score 17 points in a game last week? Here,
that's what I mean, right? So this could be one of those games where they cover just because, both will be lucky if they get to 20.
Right. Yeah, the first one to 20 wins. That should be should be an interesting situation. But I'm glad you brought that up. That's a very important point. Okay, San Jose State taking on the University of Southern California, led by Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams. That's an 8:00 start with my buddy Ted Robinson and Yogi Roth on the call. Pac-12 Network is where you can watch that one. This is a game I want to see. San Jose State is an absolute total pain in the tush for anybody from the last year of the Pac-12. So I guess we can call it that because it becomes the Pac-2 pretty soon. This is I thought I saw a line where USC was like 30-point favorites on this.
Yes, they're 30.5.
There is no doubt that USC could put up 40 points on San Jose State. The problem is, can USC's defense keep San Jose State from putting up some points? I don't know. I mean, that's the thing with USC this year. I'm not worried about the offense. I mean, the offense is going to score points. And this is Lincoln Riley. Okay. But concerning to me is, does USC even have a defense? And I guess I don't think San Jose State is necessarily the best gauge to whether or not you can decide whether they do or they don't. But SC at home at the Coliseum against San Jose State, I don't fear them losing. I just don't I don't know if 30 points is depends on the defense to me. I definitely will be watching it because I'm a fan of SC and Lincoln Riley, but I've been a fan of SC before Lincoln got there. So I don't know. The San Jose State team is not a bad team, but 30 points is a lot to give to a team that has consistently played well against Pac-12 teams. But again, they got the Heisman Trophy winner on their side. So interesting stat from when we're talking about underclassmen who win the Heisman Trophy. There have been 6 underclassmen who won the Heisman Trophy who've come back for the next year. Of those 6 to come back their second year, 3 of them had a sub 500 year, and 3 of them won the national championship. Is this Caleb? So Caleb Williams is either going to be, in line to win a national championship or have a sub 500 season.
It's one of 2 ways, right?
By the way, the last one was Tim Tebow. Just for for the record, he won it. And by the way, in that particular case, when Tebow didn't win it, the Gators did make it to the SEC final, but lost out to an Alabama team, which went on to win. But look, SC is going to be an interesting team in what is a quarterback loaded Pac-12 this year, and we'll see. But should be fun. Should be a fun game. San Jose State and USC at the Coliseum in down in Los Angeles. All right. The game of the night, the last game of the evening, 9:00.
Another conference game.
Conference USA off the bat. I don't know what the heck that. I mean, Conference USA were they playing 14 games?
And that's the thing, right? The other one was a Conference USA too. So it's like they specifically were like, we're gonna have 2 conference games on week 0.
Yeah, otherwise, what do we have to lose, right?
We lost everybody. We only had really 4 teams left. So you know what? We invited you all, and now this is what you get. You wanted to join, so now you're gonna play conference games.
You're here. You're here.
Hey, don't even get a warm up cupcake match. Just go right for it.
Well, Florida International didn't have much of a team last year, and Louisiana Tech did. I gotta say this: Conference USA games they're always evenly matched teams. I really have no feel for who any. I don't have a clue who could win this game. I mean, obviously neither of them could, but
FIU did beat them last year, and it was a double overtime game that was like 42-33 or something wild like that.
Well,
it's tough because Louisiana Tech's a 12-point favorite.
Well, Louisiana Tech has been consistently good for the last few years. So, and at home, so they're basically they're a 2-touchdown favorite, give or take. So
a touchdown and 2 field goals. I guess.
Sure, or 3 safety.
That's how they feel the Conference USA is going to go. You're going to get that 1 touchdown and then field goal your way.
Right, yeah, and you're good. So, I don't know. Playing in Louisiana, the Raging Cajun fans, I'm going to, at 9:00 start. I don't have any feel that Florida International is that good this year. But that'd be interesting. Definitely interesting. Well, there that's it, folks. That's our that's this week's first start of week 0. By the way, Foxy wanted to chime in with a soccer reference there. So
Yeah, he's referencing how they won 2-0 last night. But you know what, Foxy? I know he has a ticket on Fluminense to win Copa Libertadores that he grabbed at the beginning of the competition. But
don't get cocky. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say don't be too happy, Foxy, just because I'm sure you've seen how this Fluminense team has played on the road lately. And if you watched what Olympia did to Flamengo in that second leg last round, then
Right.
you know that 2-0 win was huge because
Yeah.
we did talk about how Fluminense really needed to get out to at least a 2-goal lead there because they don't have a good history playing in Asuncion against Olympia either. So they have the 2-goal lead now. We'll see what they do because even if they lose by 2 now, it goes to penalties. But hopefully they can hang on to that lead. But we'll see what happens in the second leg. As I still think Olympia is no pushover.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump over to Major League Baseball. There's going to be some very pivotal series. We'll start with our conversation about we wanted to trade Shohei Ohtani, and they wouldn't trade them. So I feel badly because Shohei Ohtani now, he's today meeting with doctors to find out if indeed he does have or will need Tommy John surgery. That will be the second time he's had Tommy John surgery. And I think that the key here is this late in the season, if you have Tommy John surgery, it's very likely you won't be at all able to play next season. And so I think that when you're in the walk year, it's going to really kind of mess up what kind of contract and with who he signs next year. I wouldn't be surprised. This may sound crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he signs a 2 or 3 year deal to stay in Anaheim, and then moves on afterwards. I don't know that he may feel comfortable, or other teams may roll the dice here, but I don't think he's gonna. I think I have a feeling he's gonna stay either in the Los Angeles area or go the furthest north. I think he's going to San Francisco. I think right now, if you're Shohei Ohtani and you have that injury, I think you don't want to be. It's going to sound silly, but follow the logic here. Your teammates, the staff, the manager, everybody in the organization in Anaheim. You're going to go and have an operation. You're going to come back, and you're going to have to introduce yourself to a new team from a standpoint of, getting used to the team, getting used to the way they work, getting used to a new manager, new pitching coaches, all of that. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that this may have given the Angels a chance to sign him for yet a small 3 or 4 year deal, just to keep him in the area so that he can figure out, what he's going to be. Is he going to be able to be a pitcher and a hitter? And if he's not going to be able to be a pitcher, what position on the field is he going to play? Because he's not going to just be a DH. He's too good for that. So I don't know. This is we've never had anything like this. Well, actually we did, but no, we didn't. It wasn't a Tommy John surgery. It happened just around the corner. Just 1919, as a matter of fact, when Babe Ruth decided not to pitch anymore. He decided that he would be, played field and started off as a left fielder, ended up as a center fielder. So, I think that Shohei Ohtani is going to have to have a serious consideration with his agent, with his representatives as to how they handle, this situation going forward. So it's not going it's not going to be it's not going to be. It is going to be interesting. It's not going to be easy for him to figure out what the next move is. But I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling that if I don't know, if it were me, I would sign a short term, couple 2-3 year contract and try to feel comfortable working my way back to the Angels, and then 2 years or 3 years down the line, go after the big contract. But I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it's definitely going to be an interesting offseason. But I will say the one saving grace, I guess, if you want to call it that, for Ohtani, if he does want to still try to get the big long contract, is his versatility, and that's the thing, right? He could go have the operation and still play as a position player, like you mentioned, next year. So if somebody like, for example, the Dodgers, who have that kind of cash to throw around, want to sign him to the big contract for a long while, then they can do so knowing, okay, we can still use him in the offense this year.
Right.
We're not going to have him as a pitcher, but after that, we're going to get him back as a starter. So there's definitely some upside with that regard. If you're for a team like the Dodgers who have the expendable assets to miss out on him for a year, but still use his offense.
Well, and the other aspect of it too is they've had experience with this, not with the hitting aspect of it, but Walker Buehler's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. So, the Dodgers and the Rays and a couple of other teams are very good at handling pitchers when they come off injuries. And so I think you're right. It could be the Dodgers. I think the contract, if he's going to go long term now, the contract and the money's going to look more like Mike Judge's contract and money. Aaron Judge, Mike Judge. Aaron Judge's $360 million deal that he signed with the Yankees. That's probably, that's where we're looking at right now, because as you pointed out, he could play as a fielder, or even if he was just considered a DH only, he could do DH, because you wouldn't want him throwing from the outfield. And I don't know if he can play. Maybe he could play first base. I don't know. We can figure that out. I mean, he's an athlete. He can play anywhere. But I'm not sure I would want him if I'm thinking about him pitching. I wouldn't want him to get into where he could get banged up at first base either. So but the Dodgers, you're right. The Dodgers have the money to shelf him from a pitching standpoint and see if he plays for them as a hitter in that whole routine. It's not going to take away from his speed on the bases. I mean, any of that. So, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't think he's going far. If he's going, it's not going to be, maybe 500 miles north to San Francisco, to the Bay Area. But beyond that, I don't think he's heading anywhere. And again, it's not like $300 or $400 million is that he's going to have to. I mean, a lot of people thought he was going to be the first, $500 million player. And I just don't think that's going to be the case now, because I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to sell, because you just don't know whether you want him. And frankly, even if his arm comes back, you may not want him, because you don't want to lose him entirely. So we'll have to see how that works out. But it's a shame, and we hope that he figures out what is wrong and gets it fixed quick. So we'll see. Quick look around the scoreboard for tonight, because no game's underway yet. These are the weekend series. Astros are on the road against the Tigers tonight. Valdez for Houston. Manning on the hill for Detroit. Nationals are in Miami to face the Marlins. Adone is pitching for Washington. Garrett is pitching for the Miami Marlins. Rays host the Yankees at the Trop. The Yankees have lost 10 out of their last 11 games.
They just lost a series to your Nationals.
Right, exactly. There you go. The Nationals don't win a series often, but thanks on that one.
In Yankee Stadium too.
Yes, right. Yeah,
which is crazy. But
booed out of the stadium. So
that's the Yankees for you.
Garrett Cole gets the ball tonight against Zach Eflin. So that should be a good pitching matchup. Colorado Rockies, who just left Washington, are now headed to Baltimore, 40 miles up the road. Freeland is pitching for Colorado tonight. Irvin on the hill for your Baltimore Orioles. 7:05, Cubbies and Pirates. Seems like they played each other just a few weeks ago. Hendricks is pitching for the Cubs, and Keller is on the hill for the Buccos. Cardinals, Phillies, that game is being played up the bank. Miles Mikolas is on the hill for St. Louis, and Sanchez gets the ball for the Philadelphia Phillies. Guardians, Blue Jays. That's a big series. Again, I keep saying big series. It's because these two teams, both want to be in the postseason and both have very good shots at it. Bilby is pitching for Cleveland, and Bassett is pitching for Toronto. The Dodgers are in Boston for a rare trip to Fenway Park. It's an Apple TV game tonight. Dodgers, they'll have Lynn on the mound for them. Crawford gets the ball for the Boston Red Sox. Angels and Mets. That game's over in Flushing Meadows. That game, Sandoval is pitching for the Angels. Senga is pitching for the Mets. Athletics and White Sox. That's Neal for Oakland. Crease for the White Sox. Dunning's got the ball for the Rangers tonight. Twins. They're playing in Minnesota. That's going to be Sonny Gray for Minnesota. Yu Darvish gets the ball for the Padres against the Brewers, and the Brewers have Woodruff on the hill. And the last three late games out on the coast, we got Cincinnati and the Diamondbacks in the Desert. That's Green on the hill for Cincinnati. Arizona has Passat throwing for them tonight. Royals up in Seattle. That's the late game on Apple TV doubleheader. Singer for Kansas City, and our buddy Miller for Seattle. And finally, rounding it out, the Braves are in San Francisco. Atlanta has Strider pitching, and then, of course, Webb gets the ball for the San Francisco Giants. So that pretty much gives us what we've got to do in Major League Baseball. That's your weekend series starting tonight. So, any last thoughts before we move out of here for a Friday?
No, I'll just tell people they can get my plays at BigAl.com and PickAdvisor.com. I have a League Un and a La Liga play it starts in 10 minutes. So if you want to go get that, and I have 3 MLB up for tonight. I also have 3 college football up for tomorrow, and I'll have plenty of Premier League and other European soccer leagues up for the weekend.
There you go. A full house, and you can get those just right in the show box below. All right. Well, look, we will be back on Monday, and when we come back on Monday, we'll be able to see, all kinds of what happened this entire weekend. So
how these week 0 went.
Yeah, how
these conference games.
Yeah, so did it go as well as Coke Zero? We don't know. We'll find out come Monday. But everybody have a wonderful and safe weekend. We hope that you had a lot of fun. We did. We will see you again on Monday. Till then, I'm Jim. He's Amadeus, and we'll be gone.